What is up, YouTube? It's time for a 2v2 in Cosmonarchy. Let's introduce our players first and foremost. We've got Grass Eater in the top left as the dark green, forest green Zerg. Okay, all right. Bladehollow RWL in the bottom left as our blood Protoss. He's always blood, I'm pretty sure. The day he decides to add maroon to the rotation is the day I will never guess his color correctly ever again. Yeet seems to be our golden brown Terran in the top right here. That's Beaster Brown. Okay, I was kind of close. And, well, this one's for all the marbles here. I'm going to say Glacial Protoss here is SmrtyCakes. There we go, there we go. All right, so I'm very excited to bring you some more 2v2 action, team game action in general. I did finish a 3v3 map pretty recently, so I hope that we will end up seeing more 3v3s as a result. I saw that some 3v3 AI games were being played on earlier. It's called Contract of Pain. Very epic name. So you guys can check that out if you so desire. At some point, I'll update it to be even more epically decorated. But team games are kind of a dark art in Cosmonarchy. We don't get to see them as often as certainly I would like. Obviously, a combination of troubles with the Starcraft 1 engine and the fact that we're modding everything and we have no source access and etc. Leads it to be a little bit unstable the more people you have in the game or whatever. So unfortunately, we do occasionally suffer from some technical issues as a result of that. But when it works, it is brilliant, isn't it? So we do indeed have ZP versus TP. So that's kind of interesting. I'm thinking about the compositions that you could make. And this map, Fields of Cernunnos, is by the Shambler. Originally, it was a 1 versus 1 map, and then he converted it into a 2v2. So I think the last time I played on this map, it was when we went Massacre. I can't remember who my ally was. I went like Maverick Spam or something. Anyway, definitely an old-timey move. That must have been like a month and a half ago or something. So Bladehollow was just saying that he can't type because he's too busy playing, and then he's able to type a lot. But coincidentally, he has not played. So he's going to go for a Lattice and a Gateway as his sort of move right now. He's not harvesting Vespene actively, so I guess he'll be fast expanding. Meanwhile, we do have SmrtyCakes with 200 minerals to his name. He's going to be just expanding his production at some point. He's got it on 2 gate. I'm sure he'll be doing something else here. Yeet has found a Droleth in his base, and he's now going to attack it. Smarty's here to help him out. Oh, Smarty. Oh, Smarty. What have you done? Meanwhile, we do have, well, he's got a lot of money in the bank. He could definitely spend some of that down a little bit easier. Feels like the money for everybody rising up a little bit. Hey, Grass Eater is having a good time right now. He's just chilling. He's seeing what's going on. He's sending his Zethar cores out to move across. Meanwhile, Blade, still no harvesting in the Vespene. Adds another Gateway to spend down some of his cash. Looks like Smarty going to go ahead and drop a Nexus here. So he will be our first player to expand. Interestingly enough, the Zethar core is kind of canvassing around. This one I don't think actually saw the Nexus. Maybe if it went... Yeah, this is a one-way ramp, so maybe when it came up here, it caught wind of it. We'll see. It seems like we have ally chat on for the left team here. Something that is a little bit... It depends on like who posted the replay. Actually, I think SmrtyCakes posted the replay, but maybe he got the replay copy from somebody else, right? So in that case, I'm pretty sure that's where we would get it. Unless they were all typing in all chat the whole time. Adding a couple extra stockades, he definitely has got to spend down his money, man. He's got a lot of units in the queue, and even still, could definitely drop like a ministry to expand and like 6 more stockades. Nexus on the way, a little over 50% of the way there for Smarty, as we have some Striders come out for Bladehollow, who has started harvesting Vespene again. Hydra's Den, nearly complete for Zerg here, for Grass Eater. And, yeah, cool. Very nice. So we're gonna get a longer 2v2 after all, I think, because I really don't think you're gonna run into a situation like this where you're like, oh yeah, of course, my rush of 4 Zethar cores is gonna end the game. Like as long as players don't just fall over in the opening 5 minutes, usually these team games last a little bit longer than your 1v1s do. So, hey, maybe I'm wrong about that idea, but that's sort of where I'm at right now, thinking about it. Zerg player has expanded, or at least is in the process of doing so. We've got a lot of Striders. We've got a lot of stockades. Still got that lean 1,000 minerals. The one Zethar core will start to disrupt the construction of the ministry on location. Terran players often do try to build their ministries up here and then like float them, basically. because otherwise they will just get heckled here. Yeet's reaction time definitely a little bit worse for wear. He's going to need to go ahead and resume construction of the Ministry with his Mason. Meanwhile, we have the Zithrakor just kind of hanging out off to the side, you know? There's another one up here as well. Oh, okay, that one burrowed. That's the one that killed him. This one's just kind of here for some other reason. Grand Library coming next to this Matrix by the ramp. We've got Kagran spreading the Kagra further down. Unlike in StarCraft 2, and I'm pretty sure also in StarCraft 1, the Kagra will not block your building placement if it's your ally's Kagra. If it's your enemy's Kagra, yes, it will block the building placement. But you're good otherwise. Looks like the Zethrakor was incapable of finding too much out. He sees the bio stack. He does not get deep enough to see the Fulcrum, nor does he see the Sedent. So Crucible on the way to empower the gateways there. Looks like Smarty is going to go ahead and take a third base. Oh, I don't mind this, actually. Smarty looks like he's going to try to mass expand and see if he can just withstand the incoming attacks by all of the other units. Because if he can do that, he's in a position to basically just mass expand, get all of the money, and then go from there. He's kind of in a position where he has to be he's the stronger of the two players on his team, and so he definitely has a more experience there. He's going to respond to this incoming threat by sending in his gateway units. Now, this is a pretty good force from Blade. I'd say Blade and Grass Eater aren't so far apart from each other in skill, except for the fact that I know Grass Eater has better mid-game plans. Blade is still working on the mid-game macro of his round. Now, he doesn't transfer those workers down to the third base that he had constructed, so those scribes are effectively going to be, you know, heckled and denied the ability to expand. This Nexus going down is a big blow to that force. Now, the Harakans are here to try to reduce the damage of the Golem, try to really reduce the armor specifically of it so that they can be brought down, and that is going to take a lot of the tankiness out of the sails of our left team, our Western team. West versus East right now. Stargates being added to those Crucibles, that's not going to be scouted for some time by the West team, so Team East is definitely going to be having a good time of it. You love to say that the production tabs were almost empty for that, the little bit of that. Players definitely biting into the micro side of things a lot more heavily. Golem will be lured into Death's loving embrace as the third base is considered by Smarty. He's going to add 2 more gateways around the Crucible as well. The only gateway he is not enchanted right now is the one off to the right, so he is definitely going to feel pretty good about his current position there. Has a ton of enhanced production coming online at about the same time as his opponents have been pushed back. Third base on the way here for Grass Eater. He's feeling pretty comfy on 47 workers. The leader of the lobby as far as worker counts go. Don't you guys like that? You consider the lobby leader because there's more players than just 2. So what are coming out of the Stargates? Exemplar. Okay, so SmrtyCakes wants to run the run the gamut with splash damage coming from his airships. He's read that there's going to be a heavy focus on ground units. He's going to see if he can kind of supplement the forces of his ally. You know, Yeet has made a decent number of units. Could have made more. Definitely could saturate this natural base. We've got a lot of Bactylisk. Exemplars are really good versus Bactylisks because the Exemplars have pretty good durability, pretty good armor, right? And the Bactylisk's enemy is anything with armor. So this army, however, is going to be a little bit more susceptible to it. The Zealots are going to try to soak up some of the damage. Yeet's going to need to step in with his bio and see if he can make something happen here. Oh, boy. Well, the Exemplars are getting ensnared, but pretty good flank from SmrtyCakes' own forces here to basically execute most of those Bactylisks. I think only one of them ends up scampering off. Everything else goes down the natural, reestablished. By the way, big worker transfer did happen at some point down to that very important third base. So SmrtyCakes still on 2-base eco, is taking multiple bases at the same time. Nexus in the bottom right. So he's going to go up to 4-base eco pretty soon, but Grass has continued to make a lot of workers. So he is flush with cash, nearing the requisite, tier 2 requirement as far as money goes. He's got tons of minerals. Could absolutely spend some time on the mineral side. He's going to add some more Larvosks. That'll delay his tier 2 acquisition a little bit. Would love to see him spend his mineral bank down on more hatches at this point, especially when you know your opponent has Stargates. Like, they can just go for Gladius, right? Tier 2 and now on the way for Grass, and they can come in here and snipe all the Larvosks, and then you're kind of boned. So that does suck. Definitely something that you got to watch out for. You see Grass is starting to harvest gas from the neutral base at 12 o'clock. Very good. Zealots moving around. All right, well, The Nexuses are going to continue to pump scribes here. Oh, that's a very, very nice ramp coverage there. We like to see that. Blade's still kind of shored up. He's not really using his natural, and all of his forces are back here to defend the ramp. So I'm not sure about that one. I'm not quite sure about that one. But we do have this Omega Crucible. I'd love to see, you know, if I'm in the shoes of Yeet, I'm like, for one, I'm like, holy moly, I've got a lot of minerals. I should put a ridge cap down and start harvesting gas from my geyser. Poor Yeet doesn't quite know what he's doing yet on that front. But I'm also thinking, damn, can you get a Crucible in my base? Speed up my stockades. I can go power Ahmed, because that is an option. Tier 2 now hatched up for our Zerg player. He just finished a Khaz'trith over here. Very nice. He airlifted it over there with the Avaleth. So that's definitely going to make this ramp even more psycho to try to break into. But Bladehollow is easily, much more easily approached, especially, you know, with this Nexus not really being actively defended by the ground army. Albeit, I do think this is a hard base to defend. You got this entrance, plus the ramp can be accessible once you bust down the Biotic Bastion. So that feels pretty rough. Storm Drop prepared for Bladehollow. Might be able to get some good damage dealt to these undefended scribes. They immediately pull. So yeah, I mean, not really able to get damage dealt per se, but you are losing mining time. That's a pretty big loss right there, right? So a couple of Wardens are going to help deal with the Cantavis, prevent it from getting too much done. The Exemplars sort of slowly move over like, oh yeah, you sure you want to unload that guy? But this is still doing a lot of economic delay, right? And delay is damage. So there goes the Cantavis. Not long for this world. I still don't know. I mean, it's questionable. Like, depending on how fast SmrtyCakes resaturates his base, I kind of think that Cantavis, like, paid for itself 3 or 4 times over. Like, denying mining for this long from multiple bases, particularly the gas mining in the main, and especially this base with the full natural. Yeah, okay. At this point, I think it's pretty good. Yeah, Bladehollow might be like, I didn't kill a single worker, but dude, you did untold amounts of economic damage there. That's crazy. So, at this point, we're kind of building up the bio ball, you know, getting some more units out there. He's put 1 worker on the geyser. I guess that is an improvement. He also capped his sieve, or capped his ridge rather, so he's got a sieve going. Yeet definitely a little bit further behind, but we have the Mutaflock starting to amass. This is the favored strategy here. Smarty has a couple of Auroras off to the side. What's he going to do with them? Excuse me, we've got a 5th base coming. Okay. Well, the Auroras are killing the larva. Impressive. Well, does he want to show the mutas, right? Or does he want to kind of... Yeah, he's going to use the 1 Bactylist that escaped earlier. Well, at least Smarty now remembers that he has those Auroras over there, and he will find the mutas. He'll find the muta stack. Does he take a look at the camera? That's what I would... No, he did not pay attention. He has no idea. He just died to mutas. All right, well, the mutas are now going to move in as if they were discovered. I feel like Yeet is going to be in a tough spot with the Cyprians out of position. He's going to need to cycle them up to protect himself. Looks like... Wait, where did Grass put his mutas? Oh, no, never mind. They're still moving? No, that's a scribe. There they are. The flock leaves... We've got Clarions coming for Bladehollow. He's definitely going to have a tough army as far as, like, durability goes. But is he going to be equipped to deal with the air stack? I'm not entirely sure. We have no land effects. We have no Gladius. We have nothing that can really step to the air army. Smarty finds the scribe off here in the bottom. Going to be like, oh, okay. Scout where Blade is taking his bases. He's going to take top right as well, but that might be the first port of call for these mutas. Force a cancel going. What do we see Smarty do? He cancels it, okay. And he starts land effects immediately. But it's not going to be fast enough to stop Yeet from getting owned by those. He's going to see if he can pull his units out, but he needs to select everything so that they get out of each other's way. Yeah, he's moving almost everything. Hey, buddy, what about these ones? Oh, the Worker Massacre. He's got so much money, though. It doesn't really matter too much. First couple land effects are out. Oh, yeah, they're softened up. Oh, they can do a couple of moving shots onto these scribes. The land effects are definitely going to help keep reducing their HP. I actually think that Grass Eater is in a rough spot right now. He's got loads of money. In fact, everybody in the lobby has a ridiculous amount of money. I don't know what this is like. Money Spenders Anonymous or something, like Money Hoarders Anonymous. This is what a meeting of everybody's minds there. Smarty gets a lot of his money spent, but as of right now, Grass is a lot. Goes for tier 3. His mutas are still at large. Only lost 9 of them so far. The ground army moving to intercept as Yeet is skirmishing versus Blade over here. If he had the rest of his army here, yeah, there you go. Start sending those bad boys out. Now, 19 mutas left. I feel like at this point you definitely could have pulled the trigger on something else. Blade, what have you been doing in the meanwhile? Adding a prostration stage. Could definitely add a Monument of Sin. All right, Yeet coming in with the attack. He's going to see if he can clear out all of the Convolusks. He's going to be assisted by SmrtyCakes, who also threw a couple of Auroras into the mix. Yeah, not nearly as many mutas as you would have wished for at this point. What is Grass Eater's move? 27 Zoryus. I don't know if that's going to help you out too much, buddy. I feel like Blade's Nexus is about to get knocked down. The Mason count has not been rebuilt by Yeet. He is not producing any additional workers. Bladehollow has found a worthy opponent. Okay, well, we do not attack up there. Meanwhile, here comes the Exemplar hits. They're going to see if they can drain the shields of those Clarions. Fight through the pain, Bladehollow's forces charge. Here comes the Disruption Fields from Smarty. Oh, that's some pretty good stuff. Deactivating their ability to move forward. I would also love if he just, you know, targeted down the Clarions with them. That would have been a good move as well. The Zoryus flank is big. The Lanifex need to get their weapons out here on the 35 Mutalisks, but here comes some Cyprians. They're not on attack move, though, are they? They're fixated on the Zoryus. Where's the rest of the army from Smarty? His ground force has been wiped by Bladehollow, but there's nothing left to shoot up. He needs some kind of escort versus those interminable Mutalisk flocks. All of the Cyprians have been mulched by the Zoryus. Well, at least we got... That was worth the price of admission. You know, a big old battle in the middle of the map with all 4 armies. Problem is, we still have 35 mutas. They will get rid of the Exemplar. Blade's army is kind of relegated to the dustbin of history. Zoryus are still a threat. Mutas just ignore the Exemplar and dive bomb straight onto the natural. No, they go past it. They go straight for the captaincy that was being made. But there's some Lanifex lurking. Cyprians are here to do some spread damage. He goes after the Crucible to make sure he depowers the Stargates. There's still Lanifex up there Smarty can use. His naturals beset upon yet again. The Gladius and the Exemplar do their best. There's one Sieged Matador just burning everything that it can. And meanwhile, the mutas did get routed. Did they fall back? No, they were not able to escape whatsoever. In a blink and you miss it moment, the Lanifex finally pounce. But there's still plenty of Lakizilisks moving up. I don't think there's any detection. We got Witnesses down here. Crucible reset over in this position. Pylons to repower the Stargates. This is feeling similar to that one mass destruction game I played versus Smarty a while ago. And now the Exemplars descend. There's Kagralisks at the very least. Yeah, actually, I feel like there's not enough Exemplars here to really make a big difference. Vibrance is out. I didn't even see that the Unitary Unions got made. Looks like he put them up over here. Yeah. Oh, the Kagralisks are kind of splitting their damage and spread, you know, clumping up as much as possible. You needed to spread them versus the anti-air. Like, the splash damage of the Exemplar is pretty formidable. So, instead, the Kagralisk just kind of goes kaput. Bladehollow's bottom left base being eaten. What's Yeet making? He's making a lot of units, but he needs more Masons. He really needs more Masons. He's actually going to spend through his bank pretty soon. These Lakizilisks have still continued the move. Oh, the one Vibrance! The one Vibrance raid. Goodbye. Don't worry, there's a pariah. Just one. Here come the Vilgoricors. The Dino Men. They descend. Oh no, we need detection. Here come the Lakers pushing forward. Ooh, where's his detection? Where's he got? He's not making any detection. He needs a Shaman. No, Yeet, don't do it! Your men are worth more than that! Oh, God. Help Yeet. Smarty, help Yeet. You gotta. Put an F in the chat for Yeet, boys. We all started like this somewhere. In a year, he'll look back at this cast and say, damn, I look at how much better I am as he takes down Hit 'em Up in a best of 7. Dude, the land effect count is pretty high at this point. Gunning straight through those Almacs. Definitely got some Protoss air supremacy here. I'm not quite sure if our I mean, Grass is on tier 3 with so many bases. He should definitely be able to make something happen here. But his actuation rate of the tech has been so slow that it's giving SmrtyCakes the opportunity to kind of keep himself in a good spot. The one witness is here to reveal the lake is. They are going to have to pull back. No! Grass decides to move forward and see what he can do. There's an engram on the cliff. Yeah, Yeet's going to lose a lot of men for this, but that's a sacrifice SmrtyCakes is willing to make. The one Vibrance revealing itself. Golem trying to fit through the gateways, then decides to give up there. He cannot do it. One Matrix versus one Vibrance. It's a fight that is as old as the universe. But eventually, it will be brought down with the help of a single Atreus. As the dust begins to settle, we are on 6 Stargate, 5 Gateway, and a couple of rogue galleries and a unitary union. That is what SmrtyCakes has to his name. He's got an artisan harvesting from the skies. I don't know why there's a DK geyser in the middle of the nowhere, but shout out DK one time. Cool guy. Not talking about Donkey Kong. Still no expansion here from Yeet. Needs to replace that ASAP. He's almost out of money. Meanwhile, Smarty pushing forward with a death ball. I don't know. I'm feeling like right now, with the X-Dot Axis, we, and the Alcagelisks that are being amassed behind this, I don't know that SmrtyCakes will be able to make it through. Biotic Bastion still blocking. Oh, it's only a partial block. Okay. That's what it kind of looks like visually too, but I wasn't 100% sure. Idle workers sent to mine. A Mind Tyrant on the way. Hey, Bladehollow likes this unit. He was using it versus Rainaril earlier, too. We saw that already. Yeet man, you've got 18 workers. This has been capped and has been harvested for 100 years. Only 3 lake is by the Khazitra Cesiant. These zealots are going to get pretty deep behind enemy lines and remind Grass Eater that he has a bunch of workers sitting here doing nothing. Oh, look at that. A single couple of scribes come. Well, a single couple? They might be an item. A couple of scribes move over there. They're like, hey, what's going on here? The Excitralisks return. The Drolets could not defend themselves from the scribes. It was too powerful. Yeet's got a small army over there. At least it'll be like a warning sign for Smarty, who's going up to an Ancestral Archive and 5, 6, 7 more rogue galleries. Where's he putting all these? Oh, yeah, of course. You don't actually build pylons as Protoss. I forgot. Where did he put his Ancestral? Ah, okay. That makes sense. Wow, I can't believe those Zealots actually killed the Hacharosk. The Death Ball of Zerg had to, like, move over here to defend this territory first, I guess. Now Vilgorikors are tickling scribes. Don't worry. There's some Terran here. No, fight him! Fight him, Yeet! What a disaster. Okay, here comes Blade. He's gonna dive forward. I don't know if he's gonna be able to make too much happen over here. There are so many air units for Smarty. Plus, he still has a reasonable ground army. Doesn't look like the Mind Tyrant was here with the army, so, or if it was, it died immediately and I didn't notice it. No, it's back at home. A couple of Almacs are going to be the first to fodder for the Western team as they hop in here with the Alcagelisks. Oh, but the disruption field from the land effects goes onto those Okay, the Excitralisks are not going to be in this fight. And apparently, nor are the Alcagelisks. They're being routed. The Panoptises might have been a good move here. No armor pen boost for SmrtyCakes. He's starting to make Barghests now. He realizes that's something that he probably needs to add. Especially versus the Alcagelisks, presuming there's more coming. Honestly, Grass Eater kind of low on money right now. I don't know where he spent it all or where it all went, but that Mind Tyrant needed to tether itself to something yesterday. Unitary Union's making Architects. They will fall. They'll only shoot down anyway. The air threat is the bigger one, and it looks like Smarty is going to muscle through here with just the air. Grass and Bladehollow call a delayed GG. And you know what? Yeet was here for it. He sent his his units forward and everything, you know? It's great. We'll speed up the rest of this. I don't know why they're still staying in the game. SmrtyCakes must have wanted to destroy the whole base. Which we get as a silent film, a silent epilogue to the game. Yeah, honestly, that was a silly game. In the future, our 2v2s will be even more epic. Smarty was being a bully cakes, was just coming in here and punching people, punching the noobs. Cool to see. Hope he enjoys. Smarty did donate $12 a month on our coffee page recently. He joined at the $12 a month tier. So think of this as a cast that sings his praises and welcomes him into the club. If you also donate $12 a month, maybe that's something we should do, is a featured cast with you in it. At least once a month. Well, for now we can do that. GG's. We'll be back tomorrow for another cast.